doing this evening?
And it's an honor being here. So we're going to talk about what's being a wife of the prophet, which is not it's a little difficult, but it's not hard to do. You know, we all have to level up because we all started as being a officer's wife, a deacon's wife. Now you level up to become a wife of a higher rank man, and it's like, oh, sisters become like they become like they're fearful, like they get scared of being that wife. But if you have a good man and a righteous man, you know, you'll be pleased to honor him and to submit to him. It's not hard to do. You just have to apply the scriptures. You know, it's not hard to do. You know, as if you read your 4 chapters and you you have sisters to support you, and you can just walk on the way and become that perfect wife. We are trying to be that perfect wife. We're not there yet. That Proverb 31 is like a training. We're still training.
It was very different back then. I think because when IUIC just got started, it was very teeny tiny. So we didn't imagine it to grow the way it did so fast. I mean, we knew there was going to be growth, but when I tell you, I look back and it's like, the time has gone. So for me, my journey was just kind of go with the flow, and before you know it, you are kind of looked up at as an example on how to be as a leadership wife, and it wasn't always easy. I don't think it ever is easy. And I think as you become a ranked woman's wife, or a ranked man's wife, excuse me, you are under a microscope. I think people tend to think that we just got it all together and it's been easy going from day one. And it's not. It's a process. And it's a lot of trials, a lot of errors, and it's just a lot of growth and trying to perfect your walk. It's nothing that just comes overnight. There's things and experiences that you have to go through.
And it's true. When you first come in, you start to read the scriptures and you see everything that's wrong with yourself that you were not applying. And as time goes on, you're hearing and you're learning, like, there are going to be people that's coming behind you that are going to be looking up to you for an example. And I think we just didn't want to be hypocrites when we step out. So we really took it serious to really work on ourselves, start, being around each other daily, speaking with our Lords daily to find out, like, what could I be doing better?
As far as being accountable, some years ago, I did a Titus 2 on being accountable. So I have an actual piece here that I wrote real quick. So I just wanted to read it. So it's very important that as becoming a leadership wife, that like Naama said, that we don't take it as when we're in fault, that we're not pointing fingers or thinking, oh, a sister just don't like me or whatever, that it's part of the growth as far as taking accountability for your actions, whether they're good or bad, right? So what I wrote was, the most important aspect of taking responsibility for your life is to acknowledge that your life is your responsibility. No one can live your life for you. You are in charge of your own destiny. We oftentimes never want to look at ourselves as being wrong, but wanting to be right. We automatically throw up our defenses and think it's an attack. Just own up to it, change, and move on. In order to love yourself, you must acknowledge you're accountable for being your own actions,
I'm
good or
Sister
bad.
Adelia of the House of Captain Amaziah in Atlanta. And the topic of correction is huge because all of us, whether you are a brother's wife, soldier's wife, officer, captain, deacon, bishop's wife, we all have very high expectations of ourselves, like accountability, hypocrite, blameless, self-examine. These are all things that we have to do. And trials come with this walk. You're going to get corrected, you're going to get judged, and none of us should be so high-minded to think that we can't do something wrong.
Becoming a ranked man's wife. There are two scriptures that keep me in line, and I tell these to my sisters all the time in Tallahassee. Proverbs 5:14, Sirach 1:30. Let me tell you, you are not going to hear Susanna cuss Captain Mattathias out, okay? You're not going to hear she like slammed the door in his face. It's certain things you're just not going to hear. And it goes back to us as leadership wives being the difference between us and should be other sisters is that we know how to apply the scriptures in the tough time. A natural, healthy fear if y'all going to be wives of senior men. So start now. Start practicing.
Sirach 26 and 26. It says, a woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. But she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all. I don't think anybody here on this panel wants to be considered ungodly of all. That means we're bringing shame to our husbands, to our Lord's homes, and also in the eyes of the Most High. So we all are literally, which it should be for all of us, that we're walking on eggshells. We've got to be very mindful of what we say, what we do, that we're not bringing shame to the Most High and we're not blaspheming the Most High's words. So.
Ecclesiastes 8 and 11.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8 and verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore
so
the heart
right
of
the Most High said, because the punishment to the sister who's being mean and nasty and using her husband's rank was not executed on a spot, it says, therefore, the hearts of men is fully set in them to do evil.
The sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. Well, though a sinner do evil 100 times.
So she might do it 100 times. The sister may be evil to you 100 times.
And his days be prolonged. Yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God.
Right. Read on.
Which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked.
So the Lord is saying, I'm going to get that person. I'm going to do it. So this is where you have to trust in the Lord. You pray about it, separate from them, and leave it there. Say shalom, be respectful, and just don't let their evil come on you where you start being evil.
You do according to the scriptures. Sirach 27:27, it says, he that worketh mischief, it shall fall upon him, and he shall not know from whence it cometh. They're not going to even know. You didn't have to do the most. You don't have to be catching attitude at the school and keep whispering about it to other sisters. Yeah, she always using her Lord rank to like rule over us. Follow the procedure, stay in your princess role, and just do what the men have said.
In Peter, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 9, not render an evil for evil. So sometimes, you have to take the higher road. If that's how you're perceiving it, if that's how you're thinking or feeling the situation is, just try to rise above and show good fruit.
Titus 2 and verse 3, the aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. Jump down to verse 4, that they may teach the young women. I always start with Titus 2 and I say, hey, I'm here to just teach y'all how to be the best wives and mothers you can be. Rip away the stress of thinking you run the congregation. Rip away the stress of thinking you got to hold the school down for your husband and you got to make sure stuff is going off without a hitch. I let them know their full job is to be a Titus 2 example.
She used the analogy of being like a sunflower. Okay. And she says, you might have your mind on one thing, but if your Lord says move to the left or we're going this way, a sunflower just goes in whatever direction the sun is shining. I just thought that was just a good analogy of just following suit. Be that sunflower. Wherever that sun is shining, that's where you follow.
And I have had the pleasure of knowing Mama P for a long time, 16, 17 going on 18 years, something like that. And she has been an exceptional example of that. I have watched her drop. The bishop is very spontaneous. And I have watched her drop what she's doing. I have watched her lose sleep. I have watched her, like, she truly reverences her husband. And it has been something that that I feel like I have learned from her. And I've told sisters, I'm like, listen, because my Lord is spontaneous. He's like, all right, we about to take a bike ride. And it's 10 at night. And I'm like, but I have to get up in the morning at, 7. I got to homeschool the kids. I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go. Because he's trying to burn the fat. I want to support. I'm trying to burn the fat. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. And I'm not going to complain. And this is something that I had the pleasure of learning from Mama P. So I see you as Anna, all praises.
I know that with being, keeping the household at peace or keeping your husband happy is basically, ladies, like Mama Anna said about the 4 S's, you just, it's doing what is needed of us and letting that Proverbs 31 be our blueprint. And listen, don't think that because we're a leadership wife that we don't got to go back over and look over that blueprint. Sometimes it's that time of saying, you know what, let me just go back over it, make sure that I'm doing what I'm needed to do, because I might be getting a little weak in this area. But I think as long as we really follow that blueprint and really not just talk about it, but apply. Application is so important. And you might not apply day one. You may not get it right away, but it takes practice to make perfect. It really takes just trying the consistent mistakes, but really, and that's where the growth comes in. And it's a lot. It's not easy. I'm not going to say it's easy at all being a wife of a ranked man, because like the scripture says, much is given, much is required. So it's just rehearsing the righteous acts. Every now and then you got to go back, check off what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what you got to work on, and really try to be that example to your children, to your spiritual daughters, and just be the best that you can be. And it takes time. Best that you can be.